So when I use my hand to practice chord inversions, I'm looking at a simple 3-note chord, for example, a D major chord. My thumb is going to be the root, D, the third of the chord, F sharp is the middle finger, and then the fifth of the chord, the A, is the little finger. So they always stay in those positions, root, third, fifth. So instead of just wiggling your fingers, root, third, fifth, I encourage you to actually take the other hand and grab hold of those fingers. So when we're in root position, the root of the chord is in the lowest sounding position, D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A. When we are in first inversion, which is the first way the chord can be altered, so the root is no longer the lowest sounding note, we have that F sharp as our lowest sounding note. F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, D. When we're in second inversion, which is the fifth of the chord is now the lowest sounding note, we have A, D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp. So this is a great way, you always have your hand with you, this is a great way to practice those inversions. For example, you want an E major chord, E, G sharp, B, that's root position. G sharp, B, E, first inversion. B, E, G sharp, second inversion. So you can practice these and become more facile and quick with knowing your inversions. When we take this to the instrument, if we go back to a D major chord, we're going to start with a shed shape. That's my lowest position. I can play that chord starting on the root of the chord, a root position chord. So D, F sharp, A, D. It's called a shed because the bottom is flat, the side is tall, and then it sort of slopes down. Kind of almost like a lean-to, but lean-to shape it is not quite as easy to say as shed shape. So we start with a shed in root position. A third on the right, a fourth on the left. Now that next position, you notice my top fingers here are actually going to turn into the bottom notes for the next position. I put my thumbs where my index fingers are and come to the nearest chord notes, which means thirds in both hands. F sharp, A, D, F sharp. That's first inversion. I have thirds in both hands. I call that a flag shape. It's sort of a parallelogram. Again, I put the thumbs where the index fingers are and come to the nearest chord notes. Now, it's the opposite of a shed shape. It's Nevada, a fourth in the right and a third in the left. Now you notice if I push my fingers, my hands toward each other, now my index fingers can touch and my thumbs cannot. So this is Nevada shape, second inversion. And then after that, for a D major chord, we really can't go any higher using this method because we need F sharps, and this is an F natural. Okay, so starting over, we had shed shape, and when we play this shape, you notice I can touch my thumbs. We have a third in the right, a fourth in the left, shed shape, root position. Thumbs go where index fingers are, go to the next nearest chord notes. I'm in first inversion with the F sharp now as my lowest sounding note. Thumbs go where the index fingers were, and you notice those are my thirds and thirds there for the first inversion. Thumbs go where the index fingers are. Now we're in second inversion, and you notice now thumbs don't touch anymore. Index fingers touch for this Nevada shape. And then we can go no further because we need F sharps. And if we went back to shed shape, we're now on an unmarked D, which we know from previous videos will give us a minor chord in a shed shape. So we can't play that F natural. We could just play roots and fifths if we wanted to go further. Now, if we go to the treble bridge, the lowest position is not always the root position. Here is my root position, but I can actually start below that with the second inversion because this is just a pattern. We have root position, first inversion, second inversion. So shed, flag, Nevada, shed, flag, Nevada. That just keeps repeating. So before the shed comes Nevada. So I start with my second inversion. A, D, F sharp. That's the one everybody always forgets about. A. The bottom and the top are the same. I'm in the second inversion. D chord still. Index fingers can touch. Thumbs go where index fingers are. I am now in root position again. D is the lowest sounding notes. Thumbs go where index fingers are. Now I'm in first inversion, thirds in both hands. The F sharp is the lowest sounding note. Thumbs go where index fingers are right now. I am in second inversion with the fifth of the chord as my lowest sounding note. And then again, now we're on an unmarked D, which we know would give us a D minor chord. We are playing D major, so we can just play roots and fifths there. So again, just to reiterate, the shed, the root position, is not always the lowest inversion you have on your instrument. So be thinking below what is convenient to see if you have the previous shape underneath it, the previous inversion. Now, if we take this to our hammers, we can, just like we did with shed shapes and moving shed shapes up the dulcimer, like that, keeping our right hand on the bass bridge, left hand on the treble bridge. And the rhythm is triplet 1. So there's my shed. And if I've left my hands over those notes, I am now in position to play the first inversion, which is important you articulate, starts and ends on the F sharp and is thirds in both hands. I've left my hands in this position. Now I'm in position for second inversion, fourth on the right, third on the left. And then again, thinking ahead, I am now on an unmarked D, back to shed shape. That means I'm going to be on a minor chord. I'm playing D major, so I cannot play the third. Just roots and fifths there. So again, starting down at the root position shed. Third in the left, fourth in the right. Now, first inversion, thirds in both hands. The F sharp is in the bass. Now I'm in Nevada shape, second inversion. The A is the lowest sounding note. And then I'm back to root position, but I cannot play the entire chord because I am off of a mark. I'm a shed shape off of a mark, which gives me a minor chord. So I just play my right hand twice. Same thing on the treble bridge. We remember that we start on the second inversion, the Nevada. So fourth in the right, third in the left. And when you're playing that second inversion, the root of the chord is in the upper right corner. So here's that chord with my fingers again. The root of the chord is here. Remember, when we're doing shed, the root is underneath our thumb. When we do Nevada, the second inversion, there's that root underneath the index finger. So starting on that second inversion chord, D major, then root position, D major, third in the right, fourth in the left. First inversion, D major, thirds in both hands. Second inversion, D major, fourth on the right, third in the left. Now, back to shed shape, but we have F naturals instead of F sharps. Sheds off of marks are minor, so we cannot play the third. Let's do a different chord. Let's do an A minor chord. So we need A, C natural, E, which cuts out a lot of the notes down here because we have C sharps, we have C sharps here underneath our Ds. We need C naturals. So the lowest position we can start in easily in a shape is that root position, A on the bass. So we have A, C, E, A. Then index fingers, thumbs go where index fingers are. We're on first inversion, flag, starting on the third of the chord. Thumbs go where index fingers are. We're in second inversion. See how my index fingers touch? And we have E, A, C, E, bottom and the top match. So with hammers, again, keeping the right hand on the bass, left hand on the treble. A minor, root position. A minor, first inversion. Thirds in both hands. A minor, second inversion. Fourth on the right, third on the left. And I actually do recommend that you do all of the verbal articulating that I am doing, because that will help cement that information. Our brains want to organize information. And if we just give it a bunch of patterns and a bunch of notes without articulating, what are we doing here? We're playing thirds, we're playing fourths. It's first inversion, root position, second inversion. And if we're not organizing the information, it's going to take us longer to learn it accurately. So articulate it all. Now, we do have an A down here, but we know if we start on a shed shape with an A, we get a major chord. And we just remember, we just reviewed that we have C sharps underneath our Ds here. So we can't start on this root position. Obviously, because it's a C sharp, we can't start in first inversion. We can't start in second inversion because, again, we have a C sharp. The lowest position we can start in on the treble bridge for this A minor is root position, right in the middle of your dulcimer. Then first inversion, and then we run into trouble because we often have extra accidentals up in this area. So as far as the A minor chord on the treble bridge, we're pretty limited. So I suggest choose a chord, practice it with your hand first. A minor, A, C, E, root position. First inversion, C, E, A. Second inversion, E, A, C. Practice what that means. Root positions, third in the right, fourth on the left. First inversion, thirds in both hands. Second inversion, fourth on the right, third on the left. So practice with your hand first, then with your fingers. Always thinking instead of using your ear to tell you you have hit a wrong note. Think about what you're doing and you'll go much further.